Let's turn our attention to the truly fascinating part Iran's response and America's unraveling. Friends, I have to say, Iran's current strategy is absolutely on the right track. Look at what has happened over the past 5 months.
Call halal Yahweh Shemel, Shabbat Shemakakadash, the belongers to the other apostles and other bishops and great millstone, even the elders that came before them, that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity. We're hopeful like to have an echo David. I'm the elder Yahshua. Back with a quick lesson, real quick. Amazing what's being said right here. Just let him say that again. Everything is going according to the Most High's plan. And he's going to kind of chronicle what has happened in the last 6 months. So let's listen to that, right? And then we'll go right here to 2nd Ezra 15, right? Because we already know. Is it happening? It's going right according to the plan. So we already know what's happening. We're just watching it happen. The prophecy take place. The spirit of prophecy. The testimony of Yahweh Shah. Let's see. Is the spirit of prophecy. Let me see. We're right in here. Okay. We're in the horrible vision, right? With the dragons and the wild boars, right? And all of this is happening right now. So we know. And as it's happening, we're like, okay, check. That's confirmed. All right. Now, open-minded thinker. All right. I'm not going to let this just go on and on. It's 30 minutes. I'm going to just hit the points and show that everything is going, right, according to the Most High's plan. Right. And as I play this, I'm going to try to recall, let's see, everything in its measures. Salaka. Okay, I'm going to play this. I'm going to try to get this precept.
Starting on February 28th, when the U.S. and that occupied entity launched a joint massive aerial campaign against Iran, Trump thought this would be a quick war, thinking a few rounds of bombing would bring Iran to its knees. 5 months later, the war is far from over. Instead, the U.S. has sunk into a quagmire of its own making and can't pull itself out. What Washington fears most has already happened. America's missile stockpiles are depleting at an alarming rate. Reuters just published an explosive report. The U.S. Army has used up virtually all of its Army tactical missile systems, ATACMS, and precision strike missiles, PRSM, inventory. These are the most precise and lethal long-range strike weapons in the U.S. arsenal. The very munitions the U.S. would absolutely rely on in any conflict with China or Russia. Now they're empty. And that's not all. Between February and July, roughly 65% of Patriot interceptors have been expended. THAAD ballistic missile interceptor stocks are at least 38% lower than they were at the start of the war. Global Tomahawk cruise missile supplies are down by about 50%.
All right, so the point that I'm trying to make here, right? What has happened in the last 6 months? Babylon is failing. Salakia. All right. Salakia. Babylon. Babylon is failing in every aspect. That's what is being said. Let's hear that again. Okay.
Comment, even just a dot or an exclamation point. It helps this video reach more eyes. Massive aerial campaign against Iran over the past 5 months. Starting on February 28th, when the U.S. and that occupied entity launched a joint massive aerial campaign against Iran, Trump thought this would be a quick war, thinking a few rounds of bombing would bring Iran to its knees.
Like what happened in Venezuela. They thought they would be able to just subdue everybody who was going to lay down because they didn't want no smoke. Okay? So that's why when Netanyahu fired that first shot and then forced America to jump on board, they thought that it would be over in a couple of days. Okay? And that was 6 months ago. That's the point. Okay? Now, what has gone wrong in that time? All right? I think it's said measure. Slovakia. Let me look it up on the phone. Bear with me, please. Said measure. Let's see if I can pull it. Said measure. Oh, let's see. Slovakia. SAI. Let's see. Yeah. Yes. Slovakia. Not Slovakia. The water. Call halal Yahweh Shemil. Shabbat Shemil Kalkabash. I got to get this first. So. All right. I'm coming back here. Let me get second. 4. Okay. And this is seat of my pants through the Spirit. We all have our favorite, chapters and verses, and sometimes you go off the beaten path, right, and go to things that are lingering way up there in the attic. So let me see, 4 and 37. I'm in the attic. Let's see. I'm excited. Let's see. How long? Okay. How long? I'm going down here, right? This is the point, but here's the question. So let's start. Let me see. Man, don't trip, nigga. Look, this is all the information you need. Shit. We're dealing with the Most High anyway. 2 Ezra 4 and 35. Did not the souls also of the righteous ask question of these things in their chambers, saying, how long shall I hope on this fashion? When cometh the fruit of the floor of our reward? And out of these things Uriel, the archangel, gave them answer and said, even when the number of the seeds is filled in you, which I believe means the elect are sealed, for he hath weighed the world in the balance, the elect of Israel. By measure he hath measured, and here's the point, again, 37. By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. Now, okay, going back to this, and I want to get this in the GMT if I can. Okay, but going back to what was said right here. He's measuring. He's giving you the said measure. So this is what, okay, the point that I'm getting across. Everything that's happening, right, is this. Okay, until the measure be fulfilled. The said measure. Let's see. 2 Ezra 4 and 37. By measure he hath measured the times, and by number he hath numbered the times. He does not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. Okay? This is the point. Now, what's going on over here? The said measure. That's what we're looking at. So when you hear this guy say, everything they did was perfect. No, everything is the said measure, going back to the wild boars and the what is it? Let's get it. Okay, so we got the said measure. Let's go back. Wild boars and the dragons, Salakia, the dragons of Arabia. The Arab, what do we have? The Arab nations are the dragons. The Arab nations, where the Arab nations, who they call the dragons, shall come out with many chariots. Okay, so this whole thing is going on. Why? Because it's the said measure. Okay, so let's try to get that. Salakia, I know I'm droning, but bear with me while I try to flesh this out. Try to get this in, because this thing is terrible. You try to go outside of this and it'll kick you out. The said measure is 37. Oh, here we go. Let's start back at 35. Now this is in the G&T, 2nd Ezra 4 and 35. Let's start at 34. Uriel answered. Let's read from 33. 2nd Ezra 4 and 33 in the G&T. Then I asked, how long do we have to wait before this happens? Why are our lives so short and so full of misery? Uriel answered, don't be in a greater hurry than the Most High. Woo! Don't be in a greater hurry than the Most High. You are thinking only of yourself, but the Most High has to be concerned about everybody. Your questions are the same ones asked by the souls of the righteous dead in the places where the Most High is keeping them waiting. How long must we wait here? When will the day of judgment come? When will we get our reward? The archangel Jeremiel, the archangel Uriel, the archangel Jeremiel answered them, it will happen as soon as the complete number of those who have suffered as you have are here. The elect, yeah. It will happen as soon as the complete number of those who have suffered as you have are here. For the Most High has weighed this age, measured the years, and the numbered, measure the years and number the days. Nothing will be changed until the time has run its predetermined course. That is heavy. Wow. Okay? Meaning what? Nothing will be changed until the time has run its predetermined course. That's it. Everything is set. Everything is already set up. And nothing's going to change, right? Until it's time for that change to happen. Going back to Ecclesiastes, let's go there real quick. And I'm done. Right? 3 and 1. Here we are. Line upon line. Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. Let's go down here. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war. Where are we at? A time of war and a time of peace. Are we in the time of peace? We're in the time of peace and safety, aren't we? And what comes with peace and safety? Sudden destruction. Okay? So the answer to, are we in the time of peace? We're in the time of peace and safety. Okay? Ask the Iranians who don't want to go to the table with nobody. We're not going to the peace and safety table because we know sudden destruction comes with a missile at the table. So what time are we in? Okay? We're at the time, the answer to that is, we're at the time of the set measure. Okay? Salaki, where's that? We're at the time of the set measure. 37. For the Most High has weighed this age, measured the years, Number the days, nothing will be changed until the time has run its predetermined course. Okay? Everything is on time in the predetermined course. Back here, what's going on? Iran doing everything right. No, Iran's doing everything according to the predetermined course.
Truly fascinating part Iran's response and America's unraveling. Friends, I have to say, Iran's current strategy is absolutely on the right track. Look at what has happened over the past 5 months.
It's absolutely on the most highest track. Okay. You're going to give the credit to Iran. I'm reading right here where the Most High is rising them up. Right? That's it. One more time.
Bonds and America's unraveling.
It's a lot. Let's get the whole thing.
In this age of stringent information control, every subscription, every share is a vote for truth. Subscribe to us, and let's cut through the lies together to see the real face of this world.
Because the lies, right, are part of this devil's strategy. He's covering. The anointed cherub that cover, you got to cover the truth. Okay? Go to Mississippi, see him covering the truth.
Now let's turn our attention to the truly fascinating part Iran's response and America's unraveling. Friends, I have to say, Iran's current strategy is absolutely on the right track.
Iran's current strategy, right? Let's get that. What's the Ayatollah doing? And how? Let's go. Let's start here. Man's goings. All right. The Ayatollah's goings. A personless, in the NIV, Proverbs 20 and 24, a person's steps are directed by Yahweh Shem Shai. How then can anyone understand their own way? Okay. Let's get the king's heart. Go 21. This is called MK Supreme. Mind control. Right? Proverbs 21 and 1 in the King James. If I can find it. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. GMT. Mind. MK. M. Right? K. Where's K? K in Germany. Take off the S. Mind control. MK what? Supreme. Right? Left or right? MK, there's hiding. There's the spiritual aspect. MK Supreme. Now read it. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai controls the mind. Here's your mind control. MK Supreme. Not ultra. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai controls the mind of a king as easily as he directs the course of a stream. So when you get back here, who's taking credit for what? It's the Most High's doing. Take it.
Through the lies together to see the real face of this world. Now let's turn our attention to the truly fascinating part Iran's response.
Truly fascinating. MK Supreme. Mind control. These people, look at these guys. That's Rubio. There's a clown, cross-dressing clown. And this guy right here. All right, let's get them. Oh, shoot, I got to go back up here. Get back to 9. Here they are. Second Ezra 9 and 3 in the GMT. There will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, unstable leaders, and confused rulers. And there they are. These clowns. It's the set measure. The clowns are in place. How did that happen? This is perfect for World War III, right? Or we're going to manipulate the hell out of him. We got him. How long did it take for us to get him in office? You understand? Everything, the stars have lined up, if you will. Hmm. Second Ezra's 9 and 3. There will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, unstable leaders, and confused rulers. When you see these things happening, you will know that they are what the Most High Power has spoken about since the beginning of creation. This is a sign that Yahushua is on his way back anyway. So let's listen to a little more. Listen to the language.
Friends, I have to say, Iran's current strategy is absolutely on the right track. Look at what has happened over the past 5 months. Starting on February 28th, when the US and that occupied entity launched a joint massive aerial campaign against Iran, Trump thought this would be a quick war.
But they got their ass kicked. Why? Said measure. It's that time. So everything that's happening is going according to what the Most High has set up, and we're watching it.
A few rounds of bombing would bring Iran to its knees 5 months later. The war is far from over. Instead, the U.S. has sunk into a quagmire of its own making and can't pull itself out. What Washington...
Wild boars and the horrible vision. Where'd it go? Horrible to look on. Here we go. Right here. The dragons. That whole area is right here. Let's get the horrible vision. Second Ezra 15 and 29. 28, Salat. Behold a horrible vision and the appearance thereof from the east, the Middle East, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, and all they which hear them shall fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them. We're watching that right now. And shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. What does this mean? That means they're going to take down all them Gulf states over there, and they're doing it right now. And then shall the dragons have the, look at the Houthis. Now we're controlling the whole waterways over there. Now the whole region is becoming what? The dragons. Then shall the dragons have, now we're watching them. Right now, like, oh, we got to get rid of the, you niggas got to leave the region so we can come back and have this shit for ourselves. That's what we're watching right now. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn, we're watching them shall turn right now. Okay? We're watching them shall turn. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these, who's these? Whoever's on the other side, starting with, the little, Yamaka. The big and the little Satan, right, are the land of the Assyrians, getting wasted over there. And then it's coming over here. And from the land, not the portion, but the land. See, the portion is those Gulf states belong to us. We lost them. Who's got bases over there, so-called protecting them? Start with Netanyahu. So they're all in cahoots together. That's the portion of the land of the Assyrians. Okay, and over here, and from the land of the Assyrians shall the end. This is when they come over here to Babylon the Great. Understand? So it's already laid out. All right. This is the measurement. Let's get 9. What are we doing here? We're measuring the said measurements, right? What are we to do? Pull out that ruler. Second Ezra 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, the said measure. He answered me then and said, get that said measure. Understand the said measure. With all thy getting, get that understanding of the said measure. Pull out your measuring tape. Understand what the said measure is. Understand that Pharaoh ain't doing shit because his ass is under mind control. It's called hardening of the heart, which is your mind being controlled. Okay, if you understand things in a top-down fashion, Satan is in lockstep doing exactly what the Most High got him doing. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Okay, hey, the said measure. Let's read this whole thing. 2 Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently, and except for when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt know that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, which is what all of this. What is all of this about? It's about the Most High coming back, visiting the world which he made, and the signs and measurements, so that we can know when. Okay. Now, when you see this, right? When you see these fools scrambling and losing, look at the looks on their face. Where it is. Right? Why? Said measure, it's that time. Okay, and you're supposed to be responding accordingly. What are you to be doing? And what manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversation and godly conversation and godly, looking for and hasting. Right? You're supposed to be measuring, looking for and hasting. Right? Measuring, letting the people know on this last trumpet. This is it.
Fears most has already happened. America's missile stockpiles are depleting at an
That's it. Trading places is happening. The curse is coming on these niggas.
own making and can't pull itself out. What Washington fears most has already happened. America's missile stockpiles are depleting at an alarming rate. Reuters just published an explosive report. The U.S. Army has used up virtually all of its Army tactical missile systems, ATACMS, and precision strike missiles, PRSM, inventory. These are the most precise and lethal long-range strike weapons in the U.S. arsenal. The very munitions the U.S. would absolutely rely on in any conflict with China or Russia. Now they're empty, and that's not all. Between February and July, roughly 65% of Patriot interceptors have been expended.
And the handwriting is on the wall. So I'm gonna, Lord willing, I'm gonna name this let's go back. Go to 4 here. I'm going to name this 4 and 37. Until the said measure be fulfilled. So I'm going to call this, right? Said measuring the said measure. Right? And why do I say said measure? Because that's what 9 says. It says, and said measure. And said measure thou. Said measuring the said measure. All right? Stand on your watch. Let's get Ezekiel on the way out. Okay. This is measuring. Get your measurements right. Easy E. 3. Back to the basics. On the way out. 17. Ezekiel 3 and 17, Son of man, I have set thee, Salak. Son of man, I have made thee, where we at? A watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. All right? You're measuring. You're measuring the time. You're giving them warning. Here's the warning. Things are matching up. The dragons, the wild boars, we're watching it. Okay? After they're mad because they can't win the war, they're coming after you, Jake. With that, we pray that the elect are edified. You brothers and sisters, shalom.